The Council's ultimatum, the emergency session bell, echoed through the massive halls of the Galactic Council station. Representatives from across the galaxy rushed to their seats, their various forms creating a rainbow of colors and shapes in the grand chamber. The air buzzed with nervous energy and whispered conversations in dozens of languages. Chancellor Vextar, a towering figure with silver skin and 4 arms, stood at the center podium. His voice boomed across the chamber as he called for order. The massive screens around the hall displayed star maps showing the Outer Rim territories, specifically the sectors controlled by the newest member species, humanity. Fellow representatives, Vextar began, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of diplomatic experience. We face an unprecedented crisis. For the past 6 months, our patrol vessels have been disappearing near human space. Trade routes have been disrupted. Our citizens fear to travel near Earth's territories. Ambassador Krill, an insectoid being with multifaceted eyes, clicked his mandibles in agreement. His translator device converted his chittering into the common galactic language. The humans claim to be peaceful, yet their actions speak otherwise. 17 ships have vanished without a trace. No distress signals, no debris, nothing. Murmurs spread through the chamber like wildfire. The Centauri delegation, tall beings with crystalline features, shimmered with anxiety. The aquatic Murda. Representatives bubbled nervously in their water-filled pods. Even the usually calm ethereal collective seemed disturbed, their energy forms flickering with unease. The humans must answer for these crimes, declared Representative Malek from the warrior caste of Draxia. His scarred face bore witness to countless battles, and his voice carried the authority of someone who had seen war. They violate the Galactic Peace Accords. They threaten our citizens. They mock our authority. Chancellor Vextar raised 2 of his arms for silence. 3 standard days ago, we sent an official demand to Earth's governing body. We demanded they send their finest diplomats, their most skilled negotiators, their highest-ranking officials to explain their actions and make amends. The chamber fell silent. Everyone knew that such a demand was serious. It was the last step before declaring a species hostile to galactic civilization. The consequences would be severe: trade sanctions, military intervention, possibly even quarantine of their entire solar system. Their response arrived this morning, Vextar continued, his voice heavy with disbelief. He activated a holographic display showing Earth's official reply. The message was short, almost insulting in its brevity. To the Galactic Council, we acknowledge your concerns. We will send our representative to address your questions. Expect arrival in 72 hours. Signed, Admiral Rebecca Torres, Earth Defense Command. Ambassador Krill's compound eyes glittered with anger. 1 representative? 1? They mock us with this response. We demand answers for the disappearance of our people, and they send 1 being? Perhaps, suggested the soft voice of Healer Tan. From the Peaceful Worlds Alliance, they send their greatest diplomat, their most skilled speaker, their leader, perhaps? We shall see, Vextar replied grimly. The transport dock reports that the human vessel has just arrived. Prepare the chamber for formal proceedings. The great doors of the council chamber opened with a deep, resonating sound. All eyes turned toward the entrance, expecting to see a procession of human diplomats in formal attire, carrying documents and accompanied by advisors. Instead, a single figure walked through the doors. She was human, that much was clear. Of average height by human standards, with dark hair pulled back in a military style. She wore what appeared to be a simple uniform, dark blue with minimal decorations. No elaborate robes, no ceremonial weapons, no symbols of high office. Just a human woman walking calmly across the vast floor of the council chamber. The silence was deafening. Every being in the chamber stared as she approached the central speaking platform. Her footsteps echoed in the stillness, steady and unhurried. She showed no signs of nervousness or intimidation, despite being outnumbered by thousands of alien beings. When she reached the platform, she stopped and looked up at Chancellor Vextar. Her eyes were calm, alert, and carried a quality that many of the assembled representatives had never seen before in a diplomatic setting: absolute fearlessness. "I am Staff Sergeant Maya Chun, Earth Defense Force Marines," she said in clear, unaccented galactic standard. Her voice carried easily through the chamber's acoustics. "I'm here to address your concerns." The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives shouted in dozens of languages. Ambassador Krill's translator could barely keep up with his rapid clicking. The Draxian delegation roared their outrage. The very idea that Earth would send a simple soldier to address such serious accusations was beyond insulting. Chancellor Vextar pounded his gavel repeatedly, his forearms working in concert to restore order. "Silence, order. We will have order in this chamber." When the noise finally died down, Vextar fixed Maya with a stern look. "Staff Sergeant Chun, the Galactic Council demanded that Earth send its finest diplomats to answer for serious crimes against galactic civilization. Instead, they send a single soldier. Do you understand the gravity of this insult?" Maya looked around the chamber, taking in the faces of hundreds of alien beings. Some showed anger, others confusion. Many displayed outright hostility. She took a deep breath and spoke in the same calm tone. "With respect, Chancellor, Earth didn't send a diplomat because this isn't a diplomatic matter. We sent a Marine because this is about military action. And I'm here to tell you the truth about what's been happening in our space." "The truth?" Ambassador Krill chittered angrily. "The truth is that 17 Council vessels have disappeared in human territory. The truth is that your species has shown its hostile nature. The truth is that you threaten galactic peace." Maya nodded slowly. "You're right about one thing, Ambassador. 17 ships have been destroyed in our space. But you're wrong about who destroyed them." The chamber buzzed with confused murmurs. Representative Molek leaned forward. "Are you claiming that humans did not destroy our vessels?" "That's exactly what I'm claiming," Maya replied. "The ships were destroyed by something far more dangerous than humans. Something that we've been fighting in secret for the past 8 months to keep it from reaching the rest of the galaxy." Chancellor Vextar's expression shifted from anger to confusion. "Explain yourself, Staff Sergeant." Maya reached into her uniform and withdrew a small device. "May I use your display systems, Chancellor? I have evidence that will clarify everything." Vextar hesitated, then nodded. "Proceed." Maya activated the device, and the chamber's holographic systems came to life. The display showed a star map of the outer rim, with human space clearly marked. Red dots indicated the locations where Council ships had vanished. 8 months ago, Maya began, our deep space monitoring stations detected something entering our galaxy from the void between galaxies. Something that shouldn't exist, according to our understanding of physics. We called them the Void Hunters. The display shifted to show sensor readings, energy signatures that defied conventional understanding. The readings were chaotic, alien in a way that made even the diverse council members uncomfortable. The Void Hunters don't communicate. They don't negotiate. They don't take prisoners. They consume. They arrived in our space first because we're on the galactic rim, the closest to the void. They began systematically destroying anything they encountered. New images appeared on the display. Wreckage of human vessels, destroyed space stations, entire colonies reduced to debris. The scale of destruction was staggering. We tried to contact the Council immediately, Maya continued. But the Void Hunters have technology that disrupts subspace communications. Our messages couldn't get through. We were on our own. Ambassador Krill's mandibles clicked uncertainly. If this is true, why didn't you call for help? Why didn't you? Withdraw from those sectors? Maya's expression hardened. Because if we withdrew, the Void Hunters would have moved deeper into the galaxy. They would have reached your worlds, your people, your children. We made a choice to stand and fight, even if it meant fighting alone. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The display showed tactical maps of human fleet movements, desperate battles fought in the dark of space, with no recognition or support from the wider galaxy. Asterisk, every human ship in the Outer Rim has been reassigned to fighting the Void Hunters. Maya explained. We've lost 43 vessels and over 12,000 personnel. We've been bleeding ourselves dry to protect a galaxy that doesn't even know we're fighting for it. Representative Malik's scarred face showed grudging respect. The council ships that disappeared ... were either destroyed by Void Hunters before we could reach them, or were too close to ongoing battles and got caught in the crossfire. Maya finished. We saved what we could, but in the chaos of combat, communication was impossible. We couldn't warn them, couldn't explain what was happening. Chancellor Vextar studied the data streaming across the displays. These energy signatures. This technology ... it's unlike anything in our databases. Because it's not from our galaxy, Maya said. The Void Hunters are something else entirely. Something that exists in the spaces between galaxies, feeding on the energy of living worlds. The chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. The idea of an extragalactic threat was terrifying to beings who had never conceived of dangers beyond their own galaxy. Show us proof, demanded Ambassador Krill. Show us these Void Hunters. Maya nodded and activated another file. The display filled with combat footage. Human ships engaged in desperate battles against vessels that seemed to absorb light itself. The enemy ships moved in ways that defied physics, their weapons turning matter into energy and consuming it. Footage showed human marines in powered armor, fighting boarding actions against creatures that looked like living shadow. The humans fought with desperate courage, but the enemy was relentless, alien, and nearly unstoppable. This footage was taken 3 days ago, Maya said quietly. The battle for Kepler Station. We held the line, but barely. The Void Hunters are adapting, learning our tactics. They're getting stronger. The chamber was silent, except for the sound of heavy breathing and nervous movement. The reality of what they were seeing was sinking in. Earth hadn't been threatening. The galaxy, it had been bleeding to protect it. The question now, Maya continued, isn't whether Earth will answer for crimes against the Council. The question is whether the Council will help us fight for the survival of all life in this galaxy. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of representatives from dozens of worlds. We've been fighting alone for 8 months. We can't hold them much longer. The choice is yours. Help us fight, or watch the Void Hunters consume everything. You've built. Chancellor Vextar sat heavily in his chair, the weight of the revelation pressing down on him. Staff Sergeant Chun, if what you say is true, why didn't Earth's response to our demands explain this situation? Maya's expression softened slightly. Because, Chancellor, Earth doesn't make excuses. We don't ask for thanks or recognition. We saw a threat to the galaxy, and we responded. The only reason I'm here now is because someone needs to know the truth before it's too late. The chamber remained silent as the implications of Maya's words settled over the assembled representatives. They had come expecting to condemn Earth for aggression, but instead found themselves facing a species that had been silently sacrificing itself for their protection. "What do you need from us?" asked Healer Tan, her voice barely above a whisper. Maya looked directly at her. "Everything you've got." *1 Marine's stand. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber stretched for what felt like an eternity. Representatives from across the galaxy sat in stunned silence, processing the revelation that Earth had been fighting a war for their survival without their knowledge. The holographic displays still showed the devastating footage of human forces battling the Void Hunters, and the reality of the situation was slowly sinking in. Chancellor Vextar was the first to break the silence. His forearms moved in a gesture of deep contemplation as he studied the tactical data Maya had presented. Staff Sergeant Chun, the scale of what you're describing. It's beyond anything we've encountered in our recorded history. How can we verify this information? Maya reached into her uniform again and withdrew a small, dark object. It looked like a piece of metal, but something about it seemed wrong. It absorbed light rather than reflecting it, and several council members shifted uncomfortably at the sight of it. This is a fragment of a Void Hunter vessel, Maya said, placing it on the presentation platform. Recovered from the wreckage after the Battle of Titan's Edge. Our scientists have been studying it for months, trying to understand their technology. Dr. Zentex, the head of the Council's scientific division, leaned forward with interest. His crystalline features refracted the chamber's light as he spoke. May I examine this artifact? Maya nodded. Be careful. It's inert now, but it has properties that defy our understanding of physics. It exists partially outside normal spacetime. Dr. Zentex activated his scanning equipment, and the readings immediately confirmed Maya's claims. The fragment showed energy signatures that were impossible according to known science, existing in dimensions that shouldn't be accessible to matter from their galaxy. Extraordinary, Dr. Zentex whispered. This material, it's not just alien. It's alien to our reality itself. How did your people manage to damage vessels made of this substance? Maya's expression hardened with pride and pain. At great cost, we learned that focused electromagnetic pulses can disrupt their dimensional stability temporarily, but it requires getting close enough to touch them, and most ships don't survive the attempt. She activated another display, showing a human destroyer ramming into a Void Hunter vessel. The ship's hull was being consumed even as its crew detonated their reactor core, creating a brief electromagnetic pulse that caused the enemy vessel to phase partially back into normal space. The crew of the U.E.'s Valiant, Maya said quietly. 342 souls who chose to sacrifice themselves to give the rest of the fleet a chance to escape. They knew they wouldn't survive, but they did it anyway. Representative Malek stood up, his warrior's instincts recognizing the courage being described. This is true warfare. Your people fight with honor against impossible odds. We fight because we have to, Maya replied. Because if we don't, everything ends. Not just for us, but for everyone. Ambassador Krill had been silent during the presentation, but now he clicked his mandibles in what his species considered deep thought. Even if we accept this evidence, why should we trust that humans won't turn these weapons against us once the threat is over? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Many representatives nodded, sharing the same concern. Earth's military capabilities were clearly formidable, and the galaxy had seen many species become aggressive after achieving military supremacy. Maya looked directly at Ambassador Krill, her expression calm but firm. Because, Ambassador, if we wanted to conquer the galaxy, we would have done it already. We've had 8 months to develop weapons capable of fighting beings that exist partially outside reality. Do you really think your fleets could stand against technology that can disrupt the Void Hunters? The implications of her words were clear. If Earth had developed weapons capable of fighting the Void Hunters, conventional galactic military forces would be helpless against them. Yet Earth had chosen to fight alone rather than demand submission from the Council. Instead, Maya continued, we've been bleeding ourselves dry, protecting worlds that don't even know we exist. We've lost entire fleets, entire colonies, defending the outer rim to keep the Void Hunters from reaching the core worlds. We've asked for nothing, demanded nothing, and expected nothing in return. She paused, looking around the chamber at the hundreds of alien faces watching her. That should tell you everything you need to know about human intentions. Chancellor Vextar activated his personal communication device, speaking in rapid whispers to his staff. After a few moments, he looked back at Maya. "Staff Sergeant, my advisors are confirming details of your claims. Our long-range sensors have detected energy signatures consistent with what you've described in human space. The question now is what the Council can do to help." Maya activated her own communication device, and the chamber's displays shifted to show real-time tactical information. The data was staggering. Dozens of human fleets engaged in running battles across the Outer Rim, evacuation efforts from threatened colonies, and the gradual but inexorable advance of the Void Hunters toward the galactic core. "The situation is deteriorating rapidly," Maya explained. "Our current strategy of containment is failing. We need reinforcements, but more importantly, we need the Council's manufacturing capabilities. Our shipyards can't keep up with our losses." Dr. Zentex studied the tactical display with growing alarm. "According to this data, the Void Hunters are adapting to your tactics. They're learning." "Exactly," Maya confirmed. "They're not just mindless devourers. They have intelligence, and they're using it. Every battle teaches them something new about our capabilities and limitations. We estimate we have perhaps 6 months before they develop countermeasures that will make our current weapons ineffective." The chamber erupted in nervous chatter as representatives began to grasp the full scope of the crisis. The peaceful worlds. Alliance huddled together in worried conversation. The Trade Federation calculated the economic impact of a galactic war. The military caste of Draxia began planning for combat operations they had never imagined possible. "What do you need specifically?" asked Chancellor Vextar, his diplomatic training taking over as he began to assess the practical requirements. Maya's response was immediate and comprehensive. "First, we need the Council's industrial capacity. Every shipyard, every manufacturing facility, every resource extraction operation needs to be converted to military production. The Void Hunters don't negotiate, they don't trade, they don't coexist. This is total war." She continued, "Second, we need every available ship and crew. Human tactics work, but we need numbers. The Void Hunters are infinite. They draw reinforcements from the Void itself. We need to match their numbers with our own." Chancellor Vextar stood up, his forearms spread wide in a gesture of formal address. "Staff Sergeant Shun, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally apologize for our accusations against Earth. Your people have shown courage and sacrifice beyond measure." Maya's expression softened. "Apologies aren't necessary, Chancellor. We didn't fight for recognition or gratitude. We fought because it was the right thing to do." "Nevertheless," Vextar continued, "the Council owes Earth a debt that can never be fully repaid. But we can begin by offering our full support in this war." Ambassador Krill stood up, his translator working to convey the emotion in his voice. "The Hive worlds pledge our manufacturing capabilities to the defense of the galaxy. Our industrial capacity is yours to command." One by one, representatives from across the galaxy began to stand, offering their support. The Draxian military caste pledged their fleets. The Zentari offered their advanced technology. Emerda provided their underwater colonies as safe havens for refugees. The Ethereal Collective promised their energy manipulation capabilities. Maya watched as the galaxy united in a way it never had before, brought together by the revelation of a common threat and the example of human sacrifice. For the first time since the crisis began, she allowed herself a small smile. "There's something else you should know," Maya said, raising her voice to address the chamber. "Earth's government has authorized me to extend an offer to the Council. She activated one. Final display, showing technical specifications for human weapons and defensive technologies. Everything we've learned about fighting the Void Hunters, every weapon we've developed, every tactical innovation we've discovered, we're sharing it all with the Council, freely and without condition. The generosity of the offer was staggering. Earth was giving away military technologies that could have ensured their dominance over the galaxy, sharing secrets that had cost thousands of lives to discover. Why? Asked Dr. Zentex, his scientific mind struggling to understand such altruism. Maya's answer was simple and direct. Because we're all in this together. The Void Hunters don't care about species or borders or politics. They see life itself as something to be consumed. If we're going to survive, we survive together. She looked around the chamber one final time, meeting the eyes of beings from dozens of worlds. Earth didn't ask to be the first line of defense. We didn't choose to fight alone. But we did choose to fight, and we chose to hold the line until help could arrive. Maya straightened, her military bearing evident as she delivered her final words. The help has arrived. The question now is whether we'll be strong enough, united enough, and determined enough to face what's coming. Chancellor Vexstar brought the session to order with a formal declaration. Let it be recorded that on this day, the Galactic Council entered into full military alliance with Earth for the defense of all life in the galaxy. Let it be recorded that humanity's sacrifice will not be forgotten, and that the galaxy stands united against the darkness. As the chamber erupted in applause and cheers of approval, Maya allowed herself a moment of relief. The secret was out, the truth was known, and the galaxy was finally ready to fight back. The war was far from over, but for the first time in 8 months, humanity wouldn't be fighting alone. She activated her communication device one final time, sending a message back to Earth. Mission accomplished, Command. The cavalry is coming. The response came back immediately, carrying the voice of Admiral Torres herself. Outstanding work, Staff Sergeant. Welcome to the team, Council. Let's show these Void Hunters what a united galaxy can do. As Maya walked out of the chamber, she carried with her the hopes of 1 billion worlds and the knowledge that sometimes one Marine really could change the course of history. The real war was just beginning, but now they would face it together, human and alien, united against the darkness of the void. The galaxy had learned an important lesson that day. Sometimes the greatest strength comes not from power or numbers, but from the courage to stand alone when necessary, and the wisdom to unite when possible. Earth had shown them both, and in doing so, had given them all a chance to survive what was coming. The Void Hunters were still out there, still coming, still hungry for the life energy of entire worlds. But they would find something they had never encountered before, a galaxy united, prepared, and ready to fight for its survival. And leading that fight would be the species that had taught them all what it truly meant to be strong. The story of the Galactic Council's demand for answers had ended, but the story of their united stand against the darkness was just beginning.